Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me is that retro code, Eddie V.
Hey now. Hello, everybody.
Wow.
Dude, that exhibit, Hey Now Me Mugging, is still a banger to this day.
Makes me think of NFL Street 2 every time.
Oh, it was in that game?
Yep, it was in that game every time.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. That voice you just heard is...
So we just gonna sing some jingle now since Ed started it.
I mean, you might as well.
Well, we're going to get a copyright strike if we're not careful.
Exactly. See,
That's true.
Ed.
No, there's a lot.
No. Twitch don't play that. YouTube will let you. YouTube might let you get away with that, but Twitch don't play that.
The other voices you hear are the PlayStation Doctor himself, Austin Campbell.
What's up, everybody?
And the PC Muscle Race, LeRon Dawkins.
Yo, how's it going?
It's a good day, gentlemen. It is a good day. Let me tell you. I told Ed that I am severely addicted to caffeine, and I'm excited because I just got the notification that it'll be here within the next hour.
Do you do what I mistakenly did this morning? I had 4 cups of coffee this morning.
Yeah,
I'm still amazed that you had that much.
Well, you know what's crazy though is I'm not caffeine sensitive, but I tell you what, like my core temperature has gone up, and I was jittery like 2 hours ago. That's probably why I decided to rip open my computer and start playing with the insides.
Like you started doing stuff fast, or just...
Oh yeah, that was it too. I was doing a Rust job.
I'm just like, man, I just need it to function. It feels like sometimes you just need it to function, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels good when you might as well just inject it into my veins, just straight up.
The thing
I was
about
going to
it,
say, do you have a caffeine IV?
I could. I don't know. Syringe.
The thing about it is when it starts wearing off and you just like feel drained.
No, that's when you pop open another one and just keep it going.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not caffeine sensitive at all. So I mean, like I like whereas most people will drink coffee to like wake themselves up or put themselves straight. If anything, coffee just evens me out.
Mm-hmm.
It does. I don't need the booster. As a matter of fact, it doesn't boost anything. If anything, it boosts how many times I have to go to the bathroom because it runs all the water out of my system.
You know, that's fair. The bathroom. That bathroom. Got to pee sometimes, you know? Speaking of bathroom, We've been potty training my kid today. Every like 20 to 30 minutes, we're taking her to the bathroom because she's not wearing a diaper. Man, that
can be dangerous.
That's a chore, dude. Let me tell you. But
She in pull-ups?
she's in regular toddler underwear, Ed.
At 2? At 2? She's
Mm-hmm.
not. Actually, the training pants are only needed at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, kids. That's where we're at.
Well, congrats. Yeah, you potty training one as the other one's about to pop out. Yeah.
Right.
We're trying to get one done before the next one pops out because managing 2 kids with diapers is going to be.
Yeah.
And by I mean let's be pretty honest. My wife does about 90% of the work because, well, usually I'm not here or working on something. She's a trooper. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Micromanaging.
also, I felt productive this morning because I knocked out some thumbnails. I knocked out some podcast scheduling. I knocked out some laundry. It's been a productive morning for me, gentlemen.
That's one time.
Nice.
I get it.
So,
Trying to inspire me because I'm thinking after this podcast is over, I'm getting right back in that bed that's behind me.
yeah. Well, you know. So, my second monitor went out again. That's cool. But anyways, I'm going to read this housekeeping. We'll get into what we're playing, and then I'm going to fix this situation because it's not helping.
Oh, no.
So, this is the Boss Rush Podcast, the flagship show of the Boss Rush Podcast Network. Each and every week, we get together with our friends from around the internet to talk about games and everything we love about them. You can find the show on podcast services, YouTube, and our website every Monday morning. If you like the show, remember to hit that subscribe button and please rate and review us on whatever service you listen to us on. And check out our entire family of shows on bossrushgames.com. Gentlemen, what are we playing?
I'll go first. So I finished Final Fantasy
Good, I
VII
have time.
Remake. Oh, I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. Really did enjoy it. I I kind of want to see this what if it does come to Xbox, how it's going to look on Series X because it is a very beautiful game. I give it to Square Enix that it was worth the wait for this. Graphically, gameplay wise, yes, but graphically it really looks good. One of the best PlayStation 4 games of last year. Is really up there for it. And I also finished Cyber Shadow on Switch. The review is coming soon. Thoroughly enjoyed that game. Really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, I have a problem with the music, but I think you would like it of anyone who picks it up. I'd probably say if you have Game Pass, play it there. Um, the Pro controller does it justice. Um, I think for a game like this, and I was just thinking about it, I'm like, Xbox Game Pass might not be good for it. So I think PlayStation the DualSense or the DualShock controller for PlayStation 4, I think that would work well also for it. I think it would probably work better over the Xbox one. But the Pro controller did it justice. It has some good tight controls for it. But yeah, those are two games that I've beaten, and I'll be jumping into other games later. So
When you
Austin,
say you don't
what
like
you been up
the, well, I was gonna say, when you say you don't like the Cyber Shadow music, is it just feel uninspired, or is it just like?
it's it catches the 8-bit feel of it, but like the action that's happening on when you're platforming and you're moving around so fast and stuff, the music doesn't complement it in a sense.
Oh, so it's like it doesn't. It's like it doesn't fit. It doesn't go with it. There's no flow to it or anything.
Yeah, it feels
Okay.
like it feels like it's an 8-bit soundtrack that needs to be in a different game. You can still listen to it, but I think it's just like if you want something that's like kind of fitting, it makes you feel like you want to mute it and throw on a rock album because of all the stuff that is happening and everything. I mean, it's not a bad soundtrack, but it's just like it's somehow for some reason it don't work for it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. Austin, what you been playing?
So I've been playing Mafia 3 on PS4.
Ooh.
I'm really enjoying it. I like the setting. I'm kind of over open world games, but the setting and the music is what's keeping me in, and the story. So I plan on just kind of blowing through the story and not really going to do all the side stuff. Even though it doesn't seem like it's that much side stuff you're swamped with.
Yeah, it's really not that lot for the side stuff.
It's really not a lot. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying it though. It's really good. I like Lincoln Clay as a character. I think he's really cool. So I'm enjoying that. I'm playing Mario plus Rabbids on Switch. I'm really, really liking that. I wish I would have played it earlier. It's just a game to play right before I go to bed. And then on Xbox, I'm playing through the Halo series still with Nick from LAN Party. And we're going to get through all the Halo games by the end of the year. That's the goal. So,
nice.
Because I've only played the first one.
Are you guys doing Reach and ODST?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing Combat Involved, which is that's one that I've played before all the way through, and then we're going by order by release.
Okay.
On those.
That's the way to do it. I feel like because like especially when you start getting to Reach and stuff and the different things that they implement into that, and then you go into 1 and 2, you're like, oh boy, man. It's getting to age well.
Yeah.
So, Halo's good though. I fixed the problem again, guys. Fixed it. I hope. So, I'll be gone in like 10 minutes to fix it again. Oh, technology, everybody.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
Is it?
Take it from the IT guy. Yes.
Is it?
And LeRon just like last week and leave it at that.
Oh yeah. But yeah, and then other than that, I'm playing Dead Cells a little bit because I got it on Switch now, and it just feels right there. So, but that's all that I've been. You
taking advantage of that sale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it on
Is it
sale.
still on sale? Because thinking about getting it, or I may just run into the
It
store
was,
and buy the entire bundle.
It was $13, I think, or $12.49 or something.
For the base game, yeah.
I had a gift card, so I bought that, and I bought Stick of Truth on there because I've been wanting to play that game again. So yeah, I bought those, and I started playing Dead Cells again, and I just love that game. I love that game. So.
Man, I remember when they announced it, like when Best Buy announced it, and everybody flipped for it. Like people, I think that was the game that people skipped the digital version because everybody wanted the physical version. It was crazy.
I didn't really know about it when it came out, and then I heard it was a roguelike, which is that's one of my green lights for me. I'll be like, all right, I'm playing it. But that game in particular is it's probably one of the best roguelikes I've played. It's top 2 for me.
It had the Hades feel where it was in early access on PC, and then when it came to Switch, everybody just brought it. Console, I should say. Everybody was just like, "Oh, I gotta have this." Like some people didn't know about it, but the full version was coming out, and people just like, "Yeah, we got to get this."
I played it. I played it at PAX that year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I played it there and was like, "Man, this game feels great, but I don't know about this roguelike stuff." Let me tell you, I hate roguelikes, guys. I try every time there's a good one. People recommend. I try really hard, and I just can't. I can't stand it. Except Dead Cells was really fun to play. Dead Cells just felt really good to play.
It's that it has an arcade feel to it that you just want to keep trying, or give that one more try. And I think as long as that keeps you hooked, it works for some reason.
And I think it helps people get into it more because you can jump into the other worlds really quickly. Yeah. Whereas if you play a lot of roguelikes, you have to get through that same first world over and over and over again till you get to the next one. Whereas Dead Cells, you can kind of jump all over the place. Mm-hmm. Same with Hollow Knight as well. You can kind of jump to different places quickly. So
I have that on my PS4. I need to start.
Hollow Knight was a game.
Hollow Knight's very good.
I couldn't get into Hollow Knight. I tried hard. So I don't know, man. I do try. Just can't. I can't do it for some reason.
You gotta get harder. You gotta get harder and try.
Gotta get harder and try. That just sounds.
Yeah, you gotta get harder and
phrasing,
try.
Buddy. Phrasing.
Never heard anybody say that to me before.
This is the Boss Rush podcast, not Crossroads, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. LeRon was here. I got confused.
Oh wow.
Oh man, that's so funny. Who's next? LeRon, are you next?
Yeah, I'm next.
Okay.
Right now I'm currently continuing my slog through the Monster Hunter Rise demo. It's getting fun, and I had to play around with the settings because the camera was getting on my last damn nerve. Like it would not. It was one of those things, and this is why I hated the older Monster Hunter games when they introduced the focus camera focus camera function, where you constantly just pressing that trigger button to keep the camera focused on the monster, because unlike Monster Hunter World, it's not by default. So I finally had enough of it, and I was like, I need to figure out what's going on. I finally got in there, fixed the camera settings, and now my experience is elevated so much more that it's like, yeah, I think I'm officially ready for this game when it comes out in March. And
that's. I was gonna say that's one of those games where I'm gonna have to look up what's the best way to set up your control scheme, because just playing it on the demo, I feel like this doesn't feel.
It felt clunky, right? The default settings felt clunky, and that was the other thing that was getting on my nerves. Last Sunday when I played with Ed and Dan, they heard me in the chat. And I was like, man, this camera is pissing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, but now that that one tweak fixed it, and also changed some my button controls where it was like actually clicking L3, actually get you to run just like almost every other freaking game that's out there these days and stuff like that. Even though I'm kind of nervous because I think doing that is going to cause that Joy-Con drift thing to happen, but I'll see what happens, because if I get Joy-Con drift, I'm putting my name on that class action lawsuit as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Nintendo don't want none of this.
I don't know. I think with Monster Hunter, I just kept the default. I think I got used to it or something. It's very like I think I just got used to the controls for it, and it may be because of the weapon.
I don't like pressing and holding an extra button to run. Like it's a toggle button. It's got to be a toggle button. And I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a PC gamer, but it's been like that since. I don't know. I'm not gonna say the beginning of time, but it's been like that since before I was a PC gamer. And it's one of those things. Is like, come on, like PlayStation and Xbox games have it. Come on, guys. Pressing this is no longer a 3DS game. This is no longer a PSP game. Like we need a button that toggles. We need a button that toggles run.
You know, I always wonder why they just don't make it a general thing when you're moving, just run, just like automatically go fast.
No. You can't have it like that. You played Cyberpunk. Your guy's always running. That's problematic too. Am I correct? Am I right?
Well, there's other problems before the run button, but
we're not talking about that. I'm just saying, by default, V speed seems like it's a run, and you can press shift. Well, I'm not. I'm playing on PC. You press shift, he runs even harder.
I mean, if you increase your agility, you just run faster anyway.
Exactly. And you know what? Now in hindsight, I'm thinking, like Cyberpunk. He's got cybernetic implants. Yeah, like he's increasing his speed and all that stuff. But it's kind of an interesting thing. But back to Monster Hunter though. I get what they're doing. They're trying to ease you into it if you've been playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate for the Switch. They're trying to ease you into it, stuff like that. But no, get rid of the archaic controls because like guys like me who have already adjusted to like 5th generation Monster Hunter, we like the quality of life that you introduced to us in 5th gen Monster Hunter. Every Monster Hunter game needs to have that now, and love it or hate it or whatnot. If you guys want to have a conversation with me, I've been playing Monster Hunter since 2004, the very first one on PS2. If anybody out there, in the internet and podcast land, want to have a conversation with me about it, hit me up on my social media. We'll have a conversation about it, and I will definitely state my case on it.
I know IGN released a new discussion, I think, with the director of Rise. I think you should check it out, LeRon.
Okay, I'll look into it because I try to avoid those because I don't want any spoilers. No,
he doesn't. He doesn't spoil anything of the game. I think he was just talking about like how he went from World to Rise and what the stuff that they adjusted and stuff. I think it's a good read.
It probably is a good read, and I probably will check it out just to see where where it went because I'm one of those people that initially when I heard a Switch version was coming and it seemed more like the older versions, I was like, oh, I'm probably going to skip this one. And then I saw the first trailers and I was like, okay, this looks like this is not what people said it was going to be. So when the demo came out, of course, I jumped on it. I'm a little peeved, that people had early access to the demo, so they're playing it 2 days earlier than we were. Like, come on, guys. Like you had some. I'm not sure if there was a language barrier there, or you had some mismanagement of what you were trying to accomplish as far as telling us when the demo was coming. But you kind of torqued me just a little bit when I'm on the Switch and I'm seeing people in my friends list playing it, and I'm like, wait, I've been trying to download this thing all damn day, and they're already playing it, and it's not on the store.
Right,
that's fair.
Yeah. That was very weird.
Yeah, I think they kept
that was messed up.
I think they released it like regionally, like they would release it in Europe at a certain time, and then in Japan, and then I think they did that, right? I think
no. People were playing it like a full day and a half earlier. Because the direct came out and they were saying it's available today, and then everybody ran onto the store looking for it, and it was one of those situations by like 4:00 they're like, oh, they must mean it's available tomorrow at this time because everybody was looking for it. Like I was looking for it, and then like I log on later at 7:00 at night and people are playing it. And I was like, okay, it's on the store now. So I go run to the store. It's still not available on the store.
Because I even told LeRon that the Twitter page for Monster Hunter said that it was dropping Friday. And I'm like, wait, they just said it was a confusing thing for that demo.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's one of those things, I'm not really so upset about that. It's just that I'm more like, come on, guys, like I'm a Monster Hunter World guy coming to Rise. And I abandoned like the legacy games, and when I say the legacy games, I'm talking about Monster Hunter 1 all the way through the Monster Hunter 4, the fourth generation of Monster Hunter. So I was basically up to and including the Switch games. And it's like, come on, guys,
you just together.
There was a bone here. I mean, is that going to keep me from playing the game?
No,
because I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm just going to deal with it. But I do appreciate.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, do you think it's going to be one of those games that when the PC version finally comes out, it's going to be one of those games that has cross progression on Switch?
I hope so, because that's what was sorely missed from Monster Hunter World coming from the consoles to the PC, especially given that there was a 9-month gap between the two games. That hurt. That hurt, and honestly, I feel like that's one of the things that drove people to mods like real quickly, because they want to fast track the progression. I'm not gonna mince words with you. I installed mods in my initial playthrough of the PC version, because I was like, I plugged 400 hours into this game on console, and I have to start over. I was like, no, I want to get to the point where I was at, so it feels like it's a continuation.
I think because it's Switch exclusive, since it's only one system, I think they could work on that cross progression. So if it does hit PC, or whenever it hits PC, they already got that in place or something like that.
They should be considering, given that Hades got on it pretty quickly.
I mean, Bungie does it with Destiny across 5 platforms. So why can't they do that?
Yep.
So. Just coming from me, guys.
It's Capcom, it's Japan. That's all I can say.
What are you saying? Japanese people
the
are
other
stupid?
game.
That's not nice.
That's what I heard.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I've been getting my notes together for like my Monster Hunter cast, and I'm probably going to do like a retrospective before I even start the official Monster Hunter show. And the reason why I think the reason why the controls in Monster Hunter Rise are the way they are is because if you look at the pulse of gaming over in Japan, they're more about handheld and portable gameplay, which is why the Switch outsells so many other consoles. Why it's outselling so many other consoles right now. It's the portability factor. Now it's also a thing where I feel like they are actually. I feel like Monster Hunter World, if I'm not mistaken, has sold less over in the East than it does in the other territories. So it looks like, honestly, Monster Hunter World came out to appease more of the Western gamers, and I am not going to say anything bad about that, because I do love it. Like I enjoy the quality of life experience that Monster Hunter World introduced to the series, and I get what Capcom was going for. They were like, we came from lukewarm sales of this series, as a whole, starting in 2004. We came from lukewarm sales of this series to it finally building some momentum to the point where they had almost 5 million sales of the game when Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate came out. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, which is the one that was on the Switch, that was a gamble for Capcom, because they already had suspicion that nobody was going to buy the game because Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate was a game that was basically an upgrade from the 3DS version of Monster Hunter Cross, which did not come out in any other areas except for Japan. So they released it worldwide on the Switch, and that's the one game since Monster Hunter 3 that had the lowest sales.
Yeah, because everybody played it on 3DS.
Well, no, it's because World was already out.
Mm-hmm.
World was already out. So basically, it was extra income, but it was also basically a loss, because nobody was playing a game that they put time and money into printing it. And thank God, if anyone wants to play Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, you can buy it now for $20, which is rare, because most times like these Switch games do not price drop like that and stay price dropped.
Well, yeah, because in the article they spoke about while they was developing World, they was developing Rise also for Switch, so they may have just been probably that's the reason why they may have ported for it.
Well, there's two teams that are always developing Monster Hunter, because the way it used to be is like there was just the main game. So like you had Monster Hunter, and then eventually Monster Hunter G came out, which was like an upgraded version of that, and it was still the same team working on that. But by the time Monster Hunter 2 came out, they shifted focus where it was like the main Monster Hunter team works on the main game, and a second team comes in and works on the expansion portions of it and stuff like that. And that's how that is. And eventually got to the point where it was two different teams working on Monster Hunters, and eventually the second team got enough they got enough notoriety where then they started making their own versions of Monster Hunter games, and that's where Generations Ultimate and Cross came from.
Okay.
While the main team was back to working on Monster Hunter 5, which we all know is Monster Hunter World.
The World.
Okay. Well, yeah, it seems like every time I'm on the Boss Rush podcast, I'm like stealing like 15 minutes of the show to talk about Monster Hunter stuff. So yeah, it's time to get the Monster Hunter show running.
I mean, look, that's why I started Destiny show, because I feel like every time I get on the show, I'm talking about Destiny. So I'm
a big nerd about Monster Hunter. Like Monster Hunter, that last Japanese game that I was ever going to play, and look, 17 years later, like I'm still playing it.
Hey, it's popular now.
I mean,
it's popular. It's popular now for a game that was never popular. Let's put it that way. Like you guys, like these new players that are trying to tell me stuff. Y'all are posers. Like, dude, like talk to me again when you have to heal yourself and you physically stop in the middle of a match and swallow a potion and then flex to show that you got healed. Talk to me again. There was none of this running and drinking a potion at 2/3 the speed of what. There was none of that back then. No, your guy stopped dead circle, and it was one of those things like, oh, the monster's like, oh, he's healing himself. I'm going to eat him right now.
Right.
And the other game I'm playing, and I'm not even gonna spend any time on it, but Logan will be happy that I restarted Horizon, and I'm playing it on the PS5.
the game is awesome.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I've been thinking
Hopefully, if I do this right by next week's Boss Rush podcast, I will say I have beaten it. So I actually have a game under my belt, because I haven't beaten any games since Miles Morales.
I mean, I haven't beaten any games since Cyberpunk, so.
Oh wow. I've beaten 3 games already.
Good for you, Ed.
You know what? Mute his microphone. Put him in the penalty box for 5 minutes.
Wait, what? I just beat
Ed,
3
you're
games.
banned from the show for 3 weeks.
Wait, how?
No, honestly, I'm like,
for each game.
I've been dabbling in a bunch of different stuff, but like I'm really waiting for Mario 3D World, honestly, for Switch. And what? LeRon shaking his head.
I was shaking my head because Dan Murphy from Pal Block, he is working hard to get me to get that game, and I don't know, he's like the LeRon whisperer when it comes to Nintendo, because he's been getting me to get games that I'm like, no, I'm not getting them. Please stop talking about Mario 3D World.
I try, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm just gonna send it to you. If you don't get it, I will.
Don't get it, LeRon. He'll just buy it for you.
Okay. So real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk, because I saw the trailers for Mario for back when it was coming to the Wii. What does the cat suit do? What the hell is that suit about?
It lets you run up walls. You're faster. It gives you different types of attacks that are pretty great. So
yeah,
hold on, but the ability to run up walls, they introduced that in Super Mario World, right? That little wedge thing in corners sometimes where you ran at it.
Yeah, but the cat suit lets you do that without one of those.
Yeah, because you have to.
LeRon, I'm going to level with you. I don't really care for 3D Mario games. This is my favorite Mario game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The soundtrack is really good, and Captain Toad is just amazing.
The last 3D Mario game I finished, LeRon, besides this one, was Mario 64.
Oh, shit. Okay.
You never did Sunshine, Corey?
No. Flood's stupid.
I never beat Sunshine, and I had it on GameCube. I never beat it. And the Mario Galaxy games just really screwed me up. Like, they were just... it
was on the Wii, so I played it for like 20 minutes, and I was like...
I finished.
Hope you guys watch the audio version for that one, or the video version.
Yeah, Mario Galaxy gave me a similar experience. Plus the fact that that damn camera was ooh, God,
yeah, I felt like I had to like play that game upside down half the time.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I need one of those back stretching inverted chairs to play that game.
Oh wow! I was able to play with ease. But...
I mean, I did try it out on the Switch, and it actually plays better on the Switch version. But I'm no fool. I'm not playing it on a big ass television. I play it in handheld mode.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Didn't know that.
But I'm really waiting on that, to be honest. I've dabbled in some. I did start playing Pikmin 3 on Switch. I don't know. I've had this thing where like I just need to get away from shooting guns in games. I need something colorful and happy. So I started turning on all these Nintendo games.
Which is now the opposite for me because I'm about to hop into Doom Eternal.
But yeah, man, I'm waiting for Mario. I've also been playing Destiny. Iron Banner starting this week, or is this week, I guess. And Season of the Chosen starts on Tuesday, so I'm prepping for that. And really,
does Iron Banner start Sunday?
No,
did they start their stuff on Sunday?
It started on Tuesday.
Oh, this past Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. It's so that's really all I've been doing. Nothing really else to talk about. I've been playing Disney Emoji Blitz while I put my kid down to bed.
I made a mistake of getting into that about a year and a half ago or so. It took over too much.
I know.
I had to delete it.
I downloaded it about a week before we went to Disney World last year, and then I just kept going. It's bad. I'm really addicted to that game.
The Darth Vaders already, for crying out loud!
I wanted a Figment emoji, and turns out that's like one of the 10 different emojis that you have to pay for, but you have to buy the blind boxes, and you only have a 15% chance of getting it. It's like, man.
Boo.
And the blind boxes are like $5 a piece. I'm like,
Once I started getting tempted to buy things on there, I was like, I got to get out of this quick. It's going to get bad. It's going to get bad. Because I wanted Boogie Oogie from Night Before Christmas and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I just, about that. So, but we do have a show to talk. We do have things to talk about, guys. We have things. We have things. We have a few questions, and our topic is Mass Effect Legendary Edition and Preservation of Games. So, of course, Mass Effect is not the first game to get the remastered treatment, but it is the one that is upcoming and one that I'm very excited for, especially since they added the gameplay from Mass Effect 2 and 3 into 1. So,
thank God.
Yes.
Thank God, dude. Like, seriously. By the way, can we talk about that trailer real quick? Great trailer. Great trailer. Great trailer. Did you see Jennifer Hale's happy crying tweet video?
No.
It was fun. It was cool because like FemShep is like kind of front and center of the trailer instead of other Shep. And she was like watching the trailer. She was like live reacting to the trailer about it. It was cool. It was cool.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's fun. But that trailer was great, showing the differences and stuff, and people kind of showing how, especially Mass Effect 1, the updates and stuff. No more long elevator rides. Sorry, guys.
Yay.
So.
Dang.
You know what? I have a love-hate relationship with the elevators because I love hearing the news blurbs in them, but at the same time, it's like I don't feel like sitting in the elevator for 2 minutes just to hear this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I especially love when after you punch home chick.
Oh yeah.
And then you hear something about one of her reports.
Yeah. That's funny. Let's be honest, that's hilarious that you get to punch her in the face.
Yeah.
I didn't because I was trying to do the Paragon.
You were trying to be all Paragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When LeRon told me that he punched the thing, when she punched the news person, I just fell out laughing.
In my original playthrough, I didn't punch her once. I punched her twice. I punched her in both games that she can be punched in. And in Mass Effect 3, she is ready for you.
Oh yeah.
That's so. I love that.
But I learned in hindsight after my playthrough of the trilogy that you really don't want to assault her because like she can be one of those people that really help out to your galactic readiness in Mass Effect 3.
I wonder how that's going to work in Mass Effect 3 because the multiplayer had such a big
it did
influence on that. So
yeah. They said they rebalanced it, and I'm guessing they did rebalance it because of multiplayer. Because honestly, I didn't play multiplayer in Mass Effect 3 because I played the Mass Effect Trilogy. So I figured that like my time spent in the multiplayer wouldn't have really mattered because at that time I thought the servers are probably dead. Lo and behold, apparently the servers have still been alive and going since then up through now.
Yeah, they're still going.
I thought it was always a single player game.
It is, but there's a multiplayer component to it.
Yeah, EA. You know how EA is because EA put multiplayer components in Dead Space 2 and 3.
Yeah, come on.
I remember Dead Space 3 co-op. I'm like, oh wow. So, but I'm looking forward to this. Graphically, it looks like everybody just wanted to see Mass Effect 1. And how they was going to rework that whole game. I think that is what's selling. And EA knows it because they're using most of Mass Effect 1 to sell people on this game.
Well, yeah, because that. I mean, I think Mass Effect 2 is really like the best game. I like 3 a lot too. I didn't really have a problem with the ending of Mass Effect 3 like most people did, but Mass Effect 1 definitely has the best story, and I think that's also the hardest one to go back and play right now. Just in terms of it's really the only one that's a straight up RPG, and yeah, man, Mass Effect 1. I can't wait to man, the fact that they turned that into just give it to me. Just give it to me.
I hope they fix the sniper gun because man, sniper.
It's more of a third person shooter now than an RPG.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, like, we talked about it on Crossroads on last Tuesday. And one of the things we mentioned was the fact that they retooled all the weapons and stuff. So so none of the glitchy, jittery stuff. You shouldn't encounter that like a fraction of how it was in the original games, particularly because I don't know, like it's kind of a weird thing because people got really upset about the universal ammo system in Mass Effect 2 and 3, and I feel like honestly, it was one of the things that this game needed. This is a sci-fi game. This is a game based on science fiction stuff like that. Shouldn't every weapon have like a module in it to where like it's just energy bolts anyway? Like like what? Why is everyone pissed off about the fact that there's universal ammo? I don't get because
it's the internet and the internet's pissed off about everything.
Well, here's the thing about it, as a realistic person, like okay,
a realistic person,
but BioWare is owned by EA. Just imagine if they didn't update to universal ammo, then your ammo would have been controlled by microtransactions. Because guess what? You'd never have enough ammo to do what you need to do in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Or you'd have to buy a module that controls your overheating in your weapons.
Yeah. Mass Effect. Yeah. Can't wait.
I mean, you can play 2 and 3 on Xbox backwards compatibility, and it still worked fine, but 1 was the one that everyone had to be sold on. So I think they sold whatever they're gonna sell. They probably sold twice as much just with that one trailer.
Yeah. Plus those games are like locked at 60 frames, I think, or at 30 frames on Xbox. So that makes it infinitely harder if you have a new console and you're used to. Look, I booted up my Xbox One X and just because it's in my office and I have like Hulu and stuff on it and watch it while I'm editing or whatever. And I was like, man, let's try Destiny on this thing again. Let's see what happens. Dude, going from 60 frames in 4K to like whatever is happening on the One X is like, oh boy, man.
There's a difference.
Oh man. Yeah. So it feels like a totally different game.
Did Mass Effect 2, was that the highest one, Mass Effect 2, in sales over? over one?
No, Mass Effect 3 was the highest selling one because everyone wanted to see how it ends.
Yeah.
Oh, it is okay. But 2 is revered as the best out of the series. And
Yeah. 2 is universally the most liked out of the series because it basically made the appropriate changes to how the game should be played, and everyone welcomed it. Like really, like it was super easy how everyone welcomed Mass Effect 2 when it showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So game preservation. A lot of games have been doing this. We saw Borderlands do it. We saw BioShock do it. We saw Batman do it. We saw a lot of games do it this gen for HD remasters and stuff. And some of them are kind of like meh. Okay, you're just trying to get more money. But some games have actually kind of made the games run better, look better, giving them 4K HDR kind of updates to them. Is this something that we feel like older games should consider doing? I know Nintendo has kind of been in this not tough spot, but like in a spot where people think they're just reselling old games again and again and again, and for the most part they are. But you look at the games that they're putting on Switch, like Pikmin 3 had an expansion. 3D World has a pretty big expansion to it. So they're kind of giving you more for the $60 price tag, even though it'd probably be like $40. So what are you guys' thoughts on this stuff? Do you think more companies should be doing it? Do you think we should entertain the idea, or do we just kind of want to move forward and let old games be old games?
Well, I think it depends on what console generation needs it. Does like the GameCube and PlayStation 3 kind of needs a remaster for the update stuff, or do we go back when Nintendo doing Link's Awakening, how they took that and just like remade the whole game in that graphics for this modern age? Even though
I'm talking about remasters. I'm not talking about
just talking
remakes.
about remasters?
Yeah. I mean, remakes are good too, but I mean, I feel like we kind of had that conversation last week about, especially with Resident Evil and Final Fantasy VII, because those are just almost new games at that point, telling the same story.
Well, and that's why I think that's why I kind of said it depends on the console generation, because I think with a lot of remasters, it's a lot of modern games. They're able to update it graphically, fix bugs, fix the controls, like make them tighter and stuff like that. I think if a game has missed people and they have a chance to remaster it and bring it out and a new audience could get to it, then I say yes, go for it. I think that's what some remasters do. They try to want to hit a new audience if they missed it for the first time. Because I think with this Mass Effect, if you missed it the first time, I think it's a chance for people to find out why this is a beloved series, and I think this remaster will show why it's beloved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think in the case of Mass Effect it was a missed series, because I mean, like, there's been so many sales of the Mass Effect trilogy as a whole. Like there are times when you can literally pop onto any of the marketplaces, whether it's Xbox Live or Sony or even Steam and EA Origin, where like you can get the entire trilogy for $20, and that's basically the base games. Then you have to shell out some extra money for the DLC, which I talked about, like which DLCs are worth spending the money on. So I don't think it's a case that it's a missed in Mass Effect's case. I don't feel like it's a missed game, because this game is came out 2007. This game is almost 15 years old. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't just decide to make us wait another year and do a 15th anniversary, but I'm glad. But but with Mass Effect, I don't think it's so much a missed game for people. It's more people have been begging for a remaster when like the whole remasters started becoming a thing in the Xbox One and PS4 era. People were begging for a remaster because a lot of people couldn't just go back, especially on PlayStation. They couldn't just go back and play their old game unless they had their system. Yeah. Now with other games though, like for example, like a lot of the games that nobody played from the Wii U because nobody had a Wii U and stuff like that. That fits perfectly. That is missed games. We were just talking about Mario World
3D World.
Mario 3D World. Yeah, I was getting ready to mess it up. Mario 3D World and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity. And you saw I had questions earlier, like, why should I really get it? And stuff like that. Yeah, that's an opportunity.
But that's more of a port, kind of, in a sense, than a remaster.
Well, most remasters, in my opinion, are ports. But for the most part, like sometimes development team comes in and makes tweaks to make it feel a little more modernized, which is always cool. Some games don't need tweaking as much as others. Like Mass Effect 1, for example, needs all the tweaks. Whereas Mass Effect 2 and 3 play like current gen games, because let's be honest, like games right now in this day and age are they're not really doing anything new and different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like that prototype remaster was like a bad decision. It was just like I think it looked and played worse than the original versions, and they was charging like $60 for it. Like it looked like they didn't add anything to it.
Yeah. Now I say keep the remakes and keep the remasters coming. It just pick and choose and be smart about which games, as developers and publishers, which games that you want to remake and remaster, for example. The Dead Space trilogy, they don't have to tweak anything for that, and they can remaster it right now and put it on these current gen systems. Especially, I'm not sure if they want to do that, given that like the old guys from EA Redwood and Visceral Games are getting ready to come out their own game. I'm not sure if they want to do that. They might.
That's what they said about Skate, and here we are. And they announced Skate, and Tony Hawk came out. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, like I still think there's a good opportunity for remakes and remasters. Remakes like Resident Evil 2 and 3, Final Fantasy 7 remake. Yeah, hey, you put the blood, sweat, and tears into that and turn it into a whole different experience. That's phenomenal. Remakes like the RE1 remake on the GameCube. That was a remake. I'm sorry. Resident Evil. Actually, I feel like Resident Evil. Yeah, Resident Evil 1 felt like a remake. What's a remaster that we can think of in current times right now?
I would say something like Assassin's Creed 3 comes to mind, where they kind of remastered it for the Arkham games.
For real, yeah.
Borderlands 1 and 2, BioShock. Those I would consider those remasters, because they up the frame rate. They tweak some of the controls to make them feel more modern. The Master Chief Collection, I think, is a good example of one. The Last of Us Remastered, I would say, is a pretty high up there remaster. So I mean, there's plenty of remasters out there that are doing it how I would say right.
Well, because like the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, when that came out for Wii U,
that's a remake though.
But see,
that's a remake.
That's the thing about it with Nintendo, when they put like the HD in it. Even Capcom, when they put like Okami HD, to them they consider it as a remaster and not like a port or anything. Because
it is a port, though.
Changing things. Well, yeah.
Here's the thing about that. Just real fast on the HD part. If you're gonna put games on current gen systems and they look like you're still playing them on like a 720i television and stuff like that, you're not gonna have a good time. You're gonna get slaughtered in reviews and stuff like that. So like if you're gonna bring games to current gen, even if they're just bare bones remasters, you got to put in the work, because a lot of people nowadays, they hear remaster and they think HD, they think 4K, they think 1080p, they think high frame rates and stuff like that. And the reason why they think that is because of movies. Hollywood spoiled us, because Blu-rays came out and all of a sudden all these movies were getting 1080p and 4K remasters, and stuff like that. Yeah, so you have to see a difference.
It's a visual difference.
It's a cleaner difference. It's not necessarily a visual difference, because like Wind Waker, like going back to the Wii U, right? And Wind Waker HD is clearly a remake, whereas Twilight Princess was a remaster. They did clean up some of the textures. They replaced the Link model with a cleaner one, but it still looks like the Wii and the GameCube game.
I think
I would say if you're going to go the remake,
if
you're going to go the remake route, you look at Resident Evil, you look at Link's Awakening, you look at Final Fantasy 7, like that kind of thing is the remake.
Well, that's what I meant. That's why I mentioned when I said Link's Awakening, and you were just like, you wasn't speaking more on remakes and stuff like that. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put that to the side, because with some remasters definitely from Nintendo, it is playing some of the same games and making it look different and stuff, but just that word HD to Nintendo makes it sound like remaster, and not to a lot of other people. I think when you say like Mass Effect Legendary Edition,
HD doesn't really mean that though. It just means it will run better on your HD TV. You don't have to fumble with your GameCube component cables and like. Although if you have GameCube component cables, you should sell them because they're worth a lot of money.
I'm just saying for Nintendo themselves, when they put the HD thing, to them it's a remaster. It's not to us or anything. To them, they see if they put the HD stuff, it's a remaster.
They need to be careful with that because that's an easy way to land people in hot water because this is one of those ones where customer expectation means everything, and if your jargon is getting it wrong, like people are going to be upset. And
Nintendo has a history of doing that.
Yeah, and they're going to trash your product, whether it's deserved or not. They're going to trash your product. So you got to learn, just like how, for example, like Ed, we've had this conversation for a couple of weeks now. You're upset about the fact that the Mass Effect Legendary Edition was announced for consoles, but you notice the Switch version is missing. Mm-hmm. You know. And it's a jargon thing, like consoles. Consoles means that like it's coming to the consoles plus the PC, because they said that. But they did not mention the fact that it would not be available on the Switch, and people had to go searching to see if a Switch version was coming. Now, right. I don't know why. A Switch version has been announced. I have my ideas and my suspicions about why, but at the same time, I don't know why. It's a decision. It's a decision that EA's made for right now.
And that's why I said, and there's even a new story out with BioWare saying that they've been thinking about it. I was just saying that if you're going to say consoles, Nintendo's consoles should be included, but they normally just say, that's why I was just say Xbox and PlayStation. Just say those. Just don't say consoles or anything.
I think they still consider the Switch a handheld that plugs into your TV, though, right? I mean, that's the general consensus among gamers, is that it's just a handheld. It's their handheld console.
Yeah.
But
we may not think that way, but
to others it may. Because the thing about it is that I told you, LeRon, I was just like, we're probably gonna move on from this. I was telling LeRon, I was just like, when EA said stuff about numbers and stuff that Nintendo doesn't do it, or they don't have the console installment, Switch has that installment, and they've been showing it. And people on Switch, players on Switch, say they would buy it on Switch and everything. So why is EA still ignoring it when the numbers were there and people are saying that they would buy it there?
Here's the problem though. Has EA polled gamers? Have they polled gamers, or have we been polling gamers?
We have been polling, because
EA won't pay attention to us.
EA
would pay attention to GameSpot, Game Informer, IGN. They would pay attention to those outlets. If those outlets aren't getting the notoriety, and us as just regular couch or bedroom gamers are saying this, there's a difference, Okay, here's how we solve this problem right now. To everyone that's listening to the Boss Rush podcast, or anyone that tunes into any of the Boss Rush shows, or heads over to our website and stuff, if you guys feel like Mass Effect needs to be a thing for the Nintendo Switch, hit up EA's social media, hit up BioWare's social media, let them guys know, contact their lines and stuff like that. Let them know, hey, there's an interest for it. I guarantee you, they'll start collating all that data. They'll get the numbers together, and they'll be like, oh, there's probably a presence for this. Because I feel like the main reason that EA has not made any decisions on Mass Effect coming to the Switch is because they don't know if there's a player base for it. And after they figure out if there's players base for it, they need to also understand if they're going to make money off of this. Because heaven forbid they print the games for it and it doesn't move off the shelves, then you got stores like Best Buy, GameStop saying, hey, we can't move your games.
But this is sometimes the weirdest thing, is that companies will say that they're not going to put it on Switch, but their own employees are playing most of their games on Switch. So that's the weird thing sometimes.
But who's saying that though?
I think some people from Activision has said it. There's been some other developers who have said it.
Okay, well, their games are on Switch.
Well, not all of them or anything. Not like the Call of Duty stuff. But it's just like, I think it's weird that sometimes, and again, back to the remaster thing, that people, I think if it was included, I think when if Mass Effect was included in with Switch, I think they were just like Mass Effect in total numbers for all 3 platforms and PC has sold this, and everybody will probably be like, well, what was the highest one on there? Everybody probably would look at Nintendo like to see how well did it do it on Switch or everything or something like that. Because I think with remasters, when remasters come to Switch, it has kind of looked like that it would do good in sales when it gets reported. I think EA is expecting bigger sales for this game, definitely on Xbox and PlayStation, because they have a bigger audience on there.
Well, the thing is too is like I think people. I have a couple points here, so don't interrupt me, Ed. One, I think Mass Effect. I'm just messing with you, Ed. I just like to pull your chain. One, I think that I think that gamers want to see this big, expansive world remastered on their 4K TVs on a new gen console, whether you're playing on previous gen or this current gen, right? Like the last time we saw this game was on Xbox 360 and PS3, right? Unless you're playing on PC and have mods and stuff, right? Like LeRon, I know you're playing through it with some 4K mods on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a fresh version of these games, and like with the bad taste of everybody's mouths in Andromeda, like they want the current 4K experience on their TV, right?
Yes.
So there's that. 2, EA is probably looking at weighing their options on how hard is it to port down to Switch versus these architectures that are very similar in scope, right? That PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox, PC all have similar architecture to develop games for, whereas the Switch has mobile chipsets, which I don't know how hard it is to port down, but some developers seem to have an easier time than others. A lot of people outsource stuff. Like, I think there's that. And also, I think they're trying to weigh where, maybe it comes out later, right? A lot of Switch ports come out later than the current gen's ports to see what the response is after that. So we could possibly get this on Switch if you want it there, right? There's been rumors and stuff out there that a port is coming later. But for now, I think they're focused on their biggest audience right now, which is Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC. Granted, the Switch has sold a ton of units, but how much of that is third party? We know Doom 2016 sold well. We know Wolfenstein 2 sold well. We know Skyrim sold well. But Witcher 3 sold pretty well on there. Like, those games have sold well. But EA also has a reputation of really not supporting the Switch at all, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
giving them shoddy ports of FIFA just is for that alone.
I mean, to be fair, the ports of FIFA are pretty good, but they're also that port is also like 4 years old at this point. So
yeah,
they just update their rosters and put it out for $60.
Well, there's the other thing too. Talking about FIFA, say what you will, because as games reviewers, like we're gonna put the hatchet to you, like if it doesn't pass the smell test and stuff like that. But you gotta look at something. FIFA is not a thing that the US is all about. Like European gamers and gamers in other territories, they're all about it. And if they're not complaining, if the gamers aren't complaining about how this game is, and let's look at it this way, it's a portable game. I guarantee you the hardcore FIFA players are getting it for Xbox and PlayStation. The hardcore ones, everybody else is like, hey, I'm commuting to work. Like, it would be nice to kick this ball around, during my commute.
I mean,
it'd be nice.
I bought FIFA 20 for like $15 when it was on sale on Switch, and it was a great weekend of playing soccer, right?
Yeah, I've heard it's fun. I've heard it's fun.
A lot of people who do soccer. A lot of people buy it in March for some reason. Like, even after it comes out. They just start buying it in March.
Because I think that's when that's when like tournaments and stuff happen. I don't know. I'm not a big soccer guy. I don't know. Austin, you watch soccer? Are you into the football?
I watch every 4 years when the World Cup happens for men's, and I watch every 4 years for the women's World Cup when it happens, and that's it. That is it. That's the old soccer I can do. But there's soccer all year round, all the time there's soccer around. So I think people just probably buy with their. If you're in the European League, they probably buy then. If you're in the MLS, they buy then. So there's probably multiple ways to buy it at that point.
Yeah. EA is considered the bad guy, and I understand, but also, like every villain has their reasoning for why they do villainous stuff. And in the case of this, I have a funny feeling they're just unsure, and it's scary to think that you're going to waste time and assets, into developing for a system that your product might not sell on. And this is where a lot of people, like, we see sometimes when Square Enix, for example, puts a console exclusive on PlayStation, or you put one on Xbox, and then they have to reassess, like, did we make the best decision here? And eventually you wind up with a port on one of the other systems, because it wasn't even like it was exclusivity thing. Like, they were like, oh, we initially announced this game for the Xbox, and then you come to find out that when the PlayStation version comes out, it's because the Xbox version undersold. That's usually it. And
I think it's, when it comes to EA, holding them against their word about numbers and sales and stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is with EA is, like, they make games for people that aren't like us, right? And the loud minority of gamers who get mad at EA for microtransactions and only making games that make money, like, like microtransaction stuff, and but people who buy Madden every year probably aren't looking up things about The Last Guardian or the next Japanese From Software game, right? Like, they're not doing that. They're like, oh, I got Madden, I got Call of Duty, I'm good till next year.
Go. Yeah,
yep.
I
take offense to that, but okay.
I think it's when
Hey.
I think it's when EA says stuff like, well, we're going where the numbers are at, and if the numbers are here, why are you not going there?
And you're reading way too shallowly into that. No. Hold on. Let me answer this, because if I don't answer this, I'm going to forget about it. And I think it's a point that people need to hear.
That's what happens when you get old. You forget about things.
When somebody says we're going where the numbers are at, what they usually mean is we've done the research about whether a game like this will work on the system. They're not talking about how many Switch systems have been sold so far to date?
70 million.
It's under 80.
Come on, pal, Block.
It's 69.73 million units.
Okay, that means that there is an accomplished user base. That does mean that, but that does not mean that this game might sell on that system, because that system has the most units sold. Okay, now continue your talk.
Well, it was just like, I think when they said numbers, I wasn't thinking about games. I was thinking kind of just in consoles in general, not just games, just consoles in general. And I know, Corey, we're going to move on from this. And it was just like, if the number of the consoles is what you're looking for, and Switch is outdoing, and I'm not talking about Series X or PlayStation 5, because we still got to wait for those to come in stores and everything. If the numbers are meeting PlayStation 4 and Xbox numbers and stuff, why are you not at least giving us something there? If we're holding you up to the word that you're looking at console numbers and not game numbers.
I think they're looking.
They never said they were looking at console numbers.
Yeah, I think they're looking at. I
guarantee you, they've never said that.
They're looking at.
Probably. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say they're looking at what types of games people are playing on these consoles to see if it's worth, trying to get a piece of that pie.
And the thing about it is, since EA hasn't been supporting Nintendo, they can't get those numbers on there or anything.
We can't speak to that. We don't know that for sure.
Yeah,
we can't speak to that part.
they have a few games on Switch. Like, they have a few remasters. They have Burnout Paradise. They have Faye.
Which I bought that.
They have Faye. They have
They have
FIFA.
Unravel. I have it pulled up. Unravel 2, Speed Hop Pursuit. So racing games, platformers, and soccer, and then Apex.
Yeah,
which are all games that are already working on the Switch.
I guarantee you, Apex is the one that they're looking at right now to see if it's worth porting anything else bigger there, because Apex is such a huge game. And I know they probably want some of that Fortnite pie, right? Because Apex is huge. I should probably re-download Apex. So I kind of miss playing that game, but.
And most for me, I was just with Apex, because I'm a downloader for Switch. I want to see if the source engine runs on Switch.
I think I played a little bit of Overwatch on Switch, and it worked fine, right? It's not great, but it's fine, right?
I think a lot of people are just used to Xbox and PS4 and
no,
PC.
the Overwatch is a PC game.
It's a PC game. That's it's a big. I don't see any esports for Overwatch.
For console.
It's all PC. I mean, granted, the console audience are actually still pretty huge, but like, if you're serious about Overwatch, you're playing it on PC.
PC,
mouse and keyboard, 240 frames a second.
Shout out, LeRon, to your roommate who was doing it on YouTube. That was really good. Shout out
oh man, oh god, he's a beast.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, Apex is the game they're looking at to see if they should release anything else major. And this includes Mass Effect.
I will say I am going to get Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition. If it does come to Switch later on in the year, I'm a double dip because it's not showing EA that I'm just show them like, oh, we support this on Switch. It's just like people have been saying it, and it would be cool to take this game on the go and be able to play it and everything.
Oh yeah,
just for me personally.
And I think that games that get delayed on Switch that come out later actually benefit from that, right? Because people will play the game where it's like, oh man, like Doom, for example. Oh man, this PC version looks great. This Xbox One X version looks great. And then it comes out, 6-8 months later, when you're kind of getting that itch to be like, maybe I'll play it a little bit, maybe not. I don't know. I don't feel like re-downloading it. Oh, it's on Switch. I can play it on the couch while we're watching TV. Mm-hmm. Why not? I mean, everything Bethesda's put out except for Youngblood, I think, has sold over 1 million units, which is not terrible for a third party on Switch. So
yeah. I think Doom Eternal for Switch hasn't did numbers.
I don't think it's done very well because it's download only.
Yeah, I don't think it did well across the board because like
it sold a ton when it came out. It's sold like 15 million units to date or something.
Well, I felt like that it got forgotten. Like, was it because of Ori?
It's because you don't follow games like that.
No, it was because of Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing dominated.
Doom Eternal's digital launch sales tripled Doom 2016.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing I'm wondering is I can't think of a single third-person shooter on Switch, a single one.
A third-person shooter?
Third person?
Yeah, third-person shooter.
Oh, let me tell you about G.I. Joe. Okay.
Don't.
I have a feeling that's the same as Fast and Furious game.
I mean, Fortnite's on Switch, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That counts, right?
But people play that on their phones as well. I mean, so I feel like it.
Well, Android.
I'm thinking like iPhone. Tomb Raider's not there. Of course, I mean, there's no Uncharted or Gears of War, of course, but I would say like Tomb Raider would be one to look at. Like, would Square Enix try to put Tomb Raider on the Switch?
Ed and I had that conversation a lot early on in Power Block's life.
What's the general consensus on that?
I want it. I don't know if anybody wants it, but I want it. I feel like, man, after all the trouble that Tomb Raider's been through, like coming out against Uncharted or the Microsoft fiasco or, coming out the end of a life cycle, I feel like giving it a fresh, like a fresh coat of paint for the Switch and just like porting it and having those games portable would be great. Again, I feel like that would get some goodwill for not just Crystal Dynamics, but Tomb Raider as well, just because of how Avengers has kind of gone. But
it would give them good sales because it's just, I don't know, people with Rise of the Tomb Raider, Fallout 4, like dominated over there. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it came out, it's a great game, but people just skipped it and stuff.
It's because it wasn't Crystal Dynamics, it was Eidos Montreal, and I think Shadow's the best one.
I
like Shadow. Shadow improves on a lot of stuff. I think Rise is just good because I've played it so much, but Shadow is really good for it. And I think if those games would have came to Switch, and even if it's just digital only, I think they would do very well because people would be like, okay, we got a action adventure game on the system, and I think more people would pay attention to it on Switch than on the other consoles.
I just feel like at the time, Uncharted was in its heyday, right when 2013 came out, and like you said, to get going up against Fallout, like Tomb Raider every time Tomb Raider comes out, it has struggled against something. just struggled against something. And so I think releasing it. What?
Didn't one of them come out the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5? Am I remembering that correctly?
No, that was The Witcher.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's Mad Max. Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max.
That would have been. It doesn't matter. That would have been very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rise released alongside Fallout 4.
And it was Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah.
So
that just... Which is hilarious because Microsoft had the marketing on both of those games. Why wouldn't they just say, hey, we're moving 2 weeks ahead or 2 weeks forward or something? It's just like...
Right. Because everybody was just like, move Rise and let Fallout stay where
they should have moved Rise to the spring. If your game is a smaller title and can't compete with Call of Duty or something on the side of Fallout or Destiny or something like that, you need to move it to the spring or like January, February, March.
Did Fallout 4 do better on PC?
Yeah, it always does because that gets mods.
Yeah. Do you think it was kind of a pissing contest where Square Enix is like, hey, we're not backing down. We can take on Bethesda?
Probably.
That's probably
been.
exactly what it was.
Yeah.
No Square Enix, if they did, they were going to put something on Nintendo to make them that money back.
That and maybe like, maybe they were counting on it's not the same type of game. People are looking for an action-adventure game. They're going to play Tomb Raider. If they're looking for a sprawling RPG, they'll buy Fallout, but... Maybe I think they just underestimated Fallout's power. So.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into some of these questions here, gentlemen. Sam Hall writes in, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but he says, hey guys, just wanted to know what remasters or updates you'd like to see in the future. Oh wait, we didn't answer Sappy's question from our Discord. Sappy says, if you can, give your thoughts on if it's worth longtime fans buying the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect Trilogy. The trailer gave me the feels, but I'm on the fence about it.
I say yes. I think it's worth it. Definitely with seeing how Mass Effect 1 plays and just the overhaul look, that 4K, it really looks impressive. And I think this is going to help BioWare kind of get their name back in a sense. And that's why I said for people who missed it, who may have missed it in the past, this is a good time to get on this game and play it in this modern age. So yeah, I say put your $60 or $70. I don't know what the price is going to be for it.
$70.
It's 70. Is that
is it or is it 60?
I think it's gonna be 70 because like it looks to be 70 for the new gen consoles and 60 for the older stuff. That's gonna be my guess. They might surprise us now and be like, hey, it's a $40 or $40 or $50 game. They might surprise us.
You're getting 3 games.
Here it is. Like Mass Effect is the darling of EA BioWare. It is. So I guarantee you they're gonna charge premium dollar, and plus they're giving us all the DLC
except for Pinnacle Station,
which apparently they lost the source code for that. So that was corrupted.
It was data
corrupted, and the source code got lost because an outside company did that one.
Yeah.
It's $59.99 for Xbox One and Xbox Series X with smart delivery.
That's what I was going to ask. But yeah, I think it's worth it. I think everybody's gonna be getting it.
This is probably one I'll buy a physical copy for, to be honest with you.
PC version, which means I gotta get all digital.
I would just get that PS5.
I would love to have the box art.
I will.
That box art, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Whoever this graphic designer is, I want to be that guy.
I got to see the box art. Haven't seen it yet.
Good.
If only you have a device in front of you to look it up.
It's gonna be $60 on Steam. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
Is this after Resident Evil Village or before?
I think it's the week after.
The week after. Okay. Yeah. The 2 top tier games in May. So I say it's worth it.
Yeah, I would say it's worth it too. I think just in terms of if it's one of your favorite games, in terms of like we said, like game preservation and playing the games that you remember playing instead of playing them in the actual form that they're in.
I want to replay 1 because that game was kind of hard to get through.
I think it's worth it to play Mass Effect 1 in a better way in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of this, I pretty much put my plans on doing that entire like PC remaster thing. I put that on hold now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I might just go back to my YouTube channel and actually like scrub those videos, like remove them, take them down. But I need to start putting up more content.
You could do a side by side comparison.
A comparison? Oh, that would be sweet, actually. Okay,
write that down.
LeRon, I will be looking for your stream for that because I do want to see how it looks on PC.
Am I gonna play it? I don't know if I'm gonna play it live or if I'm gonna play it, or if I'm gonna record and then upload and post, because I want to give people like the authentic experience, and the authentic experience is someone talking on top of it.
Yeah.
I think I just want to see how it looks on PC with all the graphics cards and like the upgrades and stuff compared to what.
Well, remember, I don't have a super duper computer right now because I don't have a 3080 or a 30 series graphics card right now.
Be good with what you got.
As far as my answer to that question, I'm going to say yes. It is definitely worth taking the plunge again, especially if you're overall fan of Mass Effect and you're over it, then you're not going to miss nothing. Even though I think you might be doing yourself a disservice by choosing not to play at least the remastered of Mass Effect 1. Mm-hmm. I think Mass Effect 1 is basic. I honestly think that's pushing the price of the system, of the game itself. All the work they put into Mass Effect 1. I mean that. I'm interested just to see the differences in Mass Effect 1 versus the differences in Mass Effect 2 and 3 got, because I have a funny feeling Mass Effect 1 is the most overhauled game, which is the reason why it had the big delay, because like the game was supposed to have been announced in November.
I think it was supposed to be announced in October and come out on N7 Day was the plan.
Yeah. So
and then it got delayed.
Yeah.
It got delayed, and even EA and BioWare put out the statement that the reason why this delay is unforeseen is because we're trying our best to retool the original Mass Effect. That that game, I'm not even sure when Mass Effect came out in 2007, was just gaming technology a certain way or something, and then by 2010 things have shifted.
It was running on like the first Unreal Engine 3. 1.1, I think. Whatever version Gears 1 was running on, Mass Effect was running on. And then Gears, obviously Epic was working on Gears, so they had the top crap working on it, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. I think they were stuck in figuring out whether Mass Effect should be a third person shooter or in the style of KOTOR or somewhere in between, and that's kind of what they went with 1, right? Was like that in between style thing, and then they're like, no, we got to go full third person with this.
Because KOTOR was their title that gave them their name until Mass Effect came out.
Yeah,
because I mean, Jade Empire is a great game, but most people know Jade Empire has like a cult following.
Jade Empire was awesome.
Yes. Because KOTOR was first, right? Because I think that was the first BioWare console game.
It was the first one on the original Xbox. It wasn't the first console game though. They did like Dark Alliance and Baldur's Gate and stuff for PS2 and GameCube and stuff. But I really think that because KOTOR was like their big break into like the mainstream. I feel like
KOTOR put them on the map.
Yeah, because I thought BioWare was more for a PC company, so why
they are.
Okay,
I would argue they're still PC first pretty regularly. But,
yeah.
Okay.
So I hope that Austin, did you answer this question?
Buy it.
Yes.
Buy it.
Yes.
Yes. You definitely. I feel like if you have any interest in Mass Effect, if you've never played it or if you've played it before, this is great. I would honestly, if it was just Mass Effect 1 done without 2 and 3, I would probably pay $40 for it.
Everybody would still buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm going to delete Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 off my Xbox right now. Because I had them downloaded because I was going to play them at some point again. And now, because I was like, oh, the remaster's not coming. Now it is. So.
The download file's probably going to be like 10 times the size of all three of those games, though.
I know. It is. I'm sure it is.
Can I sneak and see what the download size for the Steam file is going to be? Hold on, let me see.
Maybe.
I wonder if they're going to do it to where if it's like where it's like BioShock, where you can download the first one by itself, first and second one by themselves, and then you do Infinite. Like if they're gonna have all three of them separate, or if it's all gonna be together.
Should I said like the Xenoblade Chronicles X one, where you could download like the patches and everything before the game comes out. So when you put the game in, it recognizes it, and then bam, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. On the Steam side, it's saying have 120 gigs of space available.
Ooh.
So it's probably going to be at least like 105 or something.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's going to be one whole package because that's right.
Yeah.
There's one launcher that you can pick any of the 3 games right off the bat to start.
Why wouldn't you just start with one? It really bothers me when there's a trilogy of games that you're supposed to play in order, and people are like, "Let's start with the second one." And I understand that, like that one. This is like one is just like a really hard game to go back to right now, but like. It's the best story. You have to play it. Plus,
I agree.
Plus, there's links in Mass Effect 1 that if you don't play Mass Effect 1, you'll never see those happen in Mass Effect 3. Ever. Even if you do the digital comic.
And that's why I want to play 1 again, because I want to remember the story. It's been a long time since I played it.
The story's fresh in my mind.
Saren's the best video game villain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can say, yeah. I'm wondering though, because now that you mentioned it, Corey, I wonder if they just scrap that whole digital comic thing so people can't just cheat their way and not play Mass Effect 1.
I think Game Informer said that they are offering that.
Aww.
But
BioWare, y'all are wusses.
There's still choices in Mass Effect 1 that aren't in the
nuanced choices,
comic.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's nuanced choices.
I'd be shocked for anyone to skip 1 when you know that it's been redone like this. Like, I feel like you'd be a psychopath if you just like, nah, I don't want to see how they rechanged 1 and made it look as good as 2 and 3 now. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in 1 gameplay wise that that I want to see.
Plus, I'm. Oh, sorry, I didn't. I thought.
No, that was it.
I'm really interested to see how these games look going together now, because they're all running on the same engine and they're all running in the same, like your character. Remember in Mass Effect 2, when you loaded it up, it still asked you to like create your character if you wanted to change things. It's like, no, I don't.
What engine is it running on?
I think it's Unreal. I think they're using Unreal because they're using that original code, right, to underlie, and then they're just fixing it, right? So I'm assuming it's Unreal. I hope it's not Frostbite.
Do they want to kill it like they? Do they want to kill it like they killed Andromeda?
It kind of sounds like they do. Man, Mass Effect Andromeda, man. I enjoyed it, but it did not feel like Mass Effect.
Like Mass Effect, yeah.
It
seemed like its own game.
Yeah, I do like the jetpacks in Andromeda, though. Great addition. Great idea.
So. Like I said, I feel like BioWare didn't have no time to learn the Frostbite engine.
All right, we're gonna move on to Sam Hall's question now that we've answered Sappy's question. By the way, Sappy is a host of Lore Together. If you haven't listened to that podcast, they talk about lore of your favorite video games. So their YouTube channel also has playthroughs of those games. So you should check it out. Sam Hall writes in, he says, "Hey guys, just wanted to know what remasters or updates you'd like to see in the future. Mass Effect is one of my favorite franchises, and I'm really like more in that vein." I think you guys said Dead Space.
I said Dead Space. As a matter of fact, I would love to see a remake or I would love to see a remake of Dead Space, especially if they basically use all the tweaks and perks of Dead Space 2 and 3, for example, let the zero G spacewalking stuff feel more like it did in Dead Space 2 and 3, because I couldn't stand the fact that you had to aim for a platform and then jump at it to go zero G. That was one thing I felt was really cumbersome. And in Dead Space 2 and 3, if you wound up out in space and stuff like that, you just disengage your boots and you can go wherever you want to. And 3 also realized it better. Everybody's gonna get mad when I say this. Dead Space 3 had universal ammo. I didn't see a problem with it, but I was at the same time, I was like, hey man, like Isaac Clarke, the guy's an engineer, and he was battling alien creatures that with tools. If he found a way to like defeat an entire world, with a toolkit, that guy should be able to make any ammo he wants. So why y'all complaining about universal ammo? And he's an engineer. You know, the dumbest thing people argue about and stuff like that. You know, right
for me,
okay.
I still want to resist this remaster.
Oh yeah.
Like go ahead and fix one. I like 2 and 3. I think 3 is the best. Fix 1 and just like give it that like updated polish and stuff. I really want Insomniac to do that, to go back, because I think that's one of the best first-person shooters on PlayStation that I thoroughly enjoy. Killzone is good, but Resistance just like it spoke to me on PS3 with all 3 games, and I think it would look so good on PlayStation 5 and PC if they decide to bring it.
I bet they do. I bet Resistance comes back in some form. I bet Blue Point is working. One of their teams is working on it at some point, right? Do we know what
Blue Point?
Do we know what their next project is? By the way,
no idea.
Not. Yeah, they just when they finished Demon Souls, that was it. Right now, so they're probably playing something.
That's my hope. Resistance.
I feel like they probably redoing Eco since they did Shadow of the Colossus.
I think
I would be kind of upset if they do that instead of Resistance.
Yeah,
or any other ones.
I've been hearing Metal Gear at some point.
Actually, wait. There's a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake coming. It's supposed to be in the works right now, which makes me think that there's a good chance that Sony is going to snatch up that IP
from Konami.
I wonder if
when I say snatch up, I mean like they're going to get the rights.
I wonder if Sony's going to just say, "Hey, Konami, we want to license your IP exclusively. Here's a handful of cash. We want to make your games. Let's do it." And Konami will say, "Sure, we have gyms and pachinko machines to run."
Do you think it's after the restructuring, or do you think that contract? I think
it's part of the restructure. Where like, yeah, we still have an internal game studios to do repurpose our classic stuff, but if people want to use our IP, then we're gonna license it out. Similar to what Disney's doing with Star Wars and Marvel, honestly.
Yeah,
I would be shocked that if Konami starts talking to Nintendo to.
I would be. 'Cause I feel like they're more in bed with PlayStation at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I think with that remaster of Metal Gear Solid 1, Twin Snakes on GameCube.
Yeah, but I feel like nobody liked it. I feel like that was the problem with Twin Snakes.
Which is weird because they've been using all this stuff for Metal Gear 2 and 3 from Twin Snakes.
Wait, hold on. Twin Snakes was built after Metal Gear Solid 2. So if anything, Twin Snakes borrowed a lot of the concepts from Metal Gear Solid 2.
No, it came out after 2. And they were supposed to do 2 and 3 for GameCube also, but
it didn't sell, and it didn't move GameCube systems.
Yep.
Like I already had a GameCube, so I bought that game.
It's the same as Resident Evil 4, right? Like they're like, well, we got an exclusive. We've got 3 Resident Evil exclusive games, and guess what? It didn't sell GameCubes, so that's why they put it on PS2.
It's so weird.
It's weird that nobody likes Nintendo.
I mean,
Corey said it, not me.
No, it's just that like when sometimes when those games come out like on the Nintendo platforms, I'm saying just like exclusive, that whatever they put in they use for other products, other works later on different platforms and different series of games. So
I still think we could get a port of Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on the Switch, because the best way to play those games now is on the Vita.
Is on handheld.
It's the best way to play it. Yeah. And so if it was on Switch, it would be a huge deal. Well,
like I said, I feel like for older games and remasters and stuff and ports, like Konami has internal teams to do that, right? Like you see the Castlevania collection and the Contra collections and stuff popping up on consoles, but like for new AAA, huge budget IP, they're gonna want a knowledgeable team to do that, right? And I feel like Sony is going to try their hardest to do that, because I think no offense to Nintendo, but Sony's console's way more powerful, and Nintendo's doing gangbusters with their own IP and indies that they're just like, we're not going to waste the money doing that, because look how well our first party selling. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Ed. I'm just saying like that. I feel like that's Nintendo's business idea. I don't know why I did this, but
I think Nintendo themselves have moved away from working with Konami because we see them working more with Bandai Namco and Koei Tecmo for games, and even Platinum Games. They're working with them. Yeah. I think Konami hasn't had movement in their games besides like Scale Attack.
It's because they haven't made any games. They published Scale Attack, right? Like, but that didn't sell units, right? That was just an indie style game that Konami published.
Yeah, and I think Bomberman, when Switch first came out, did like numbers for them. Like, and I think that was the kind of surprising to Konami.
Well, also that was also the only other game you could buy besides Zelda and 1-2 Switch was Bomberman at the time, right? Because like, I mean, no offense to Nintendo, but nobody was supporting the Wii U, and they were like, "Why are we going to support your next thing?" Right at the beginning. Remember how slow games were coming to Switch at the beginning? Ed, when we were doing Power Block, we were like, "Oh, well, we'll do 4 weeks on Zelda, and then I guess Splatoon's coming out. We'll talk about that and ARMS."
And then just
a remake of Street Fighter. A remake of Street Fighter 2 and Bomberman are coming, so I guess we'll talk about those for a month.
And then a cavalcade of games of indies and
well, yeah, I mean, once the Switch took off, and especially that second year where like, oh, well, Nintendo's got something here. Nintendo, you know, I mean, we kind of knew that because we are obsessed with Nintendo and we will buy anything they put out, but I feel like companies are obviously way different in that. And so we saw like we said earlier, Switch sold 70 million units, but it's mostly on their first party and indies stuff. So
yeah. I'm sorry, Austin. Did you have any remasters?
Well, I would love to see Red Dead remastered, the first one. And then I would really like to see a remake of Bully.
I was just about to say
redone.
You better said Bully.
Yeah.
You better said Bully.
See, Red Dead I'd be okay with just a remaster, but with Bully I wouldn't want a remaster. I would want a whole remake.
Yeah, build that from the ground up. Give it the GTA 5 experience. Rebuild that from the ground up.
Yeah.
Bully was such a weird game.
Weird? Bully was such a great game. I feel like Bully is the best game from.
We're in the way that it came out. I think it did numbers and stuff, but a lot of people feel like it didn't have that GTA magic to it and stuff.
I feel like people liked it. I feel like people liked it because it wasn't GTA at the time, right? Like I feel like that was the big draw of that game. Was like, oh, it's a GTA style game that's not GTA, right? Because like isn't the open world just take place in a school, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I never played Bully, so I would also like a remaster.
Oh, it was great. It was great. Like you got to do stuff out in town. It was such a great game.
Yeah.
I think that's a remaster that should have happened. I agree with you, Austin. I think a lot of people missed it, and I think it would fit in well. Knowing Rocksteady's design for open world games.
I have one, guys. Now stick with me. It's gonna be awesome. You guys are gonna be excited. Maybe not. I don't know. I think we need a remastered trilogy of the first 3 SSX games.
Hell yes. Hell yes. The first 3 were the best ones because SSX 4 and SSX World Tour were garbage.
I know. That's why I said the first 3.
EA Big would just come back.
Come back.
General.
With their alternative spin on sports titles. Man, we missed that.
I didn't play the SSX series.
Let me tell you this, Ed. SSX was probably the definitive PS2 launch game because once you weed through the rest of the library, if you had SSX, that was the one you played the most until like the heavy hitting games came out.
Are you telling me that the Bouncer wasn't a good enough launch game for you?
The Bouncer wasn't. What was that one game?
Fantasy Vision or something like
Summoner?
You know, that's a set.
Are you talking about Summoner?
Okay, I remember Summoner too, yeah, but no. It's sad. Like, those launch titles are so forgettable, but everyone remembers SSX and the Bouncer, because the Bouncer was kind of infamous.
Yeah.
I bought the Bouncer. I bought the Bouncer, Madden 2001, and NBA Live 2001 with my PlayStation 2. And let me tell you, I played through the Bouncer once, and then I played a lot of Madden after that.
I didn't get my PlayStation 2 till the Slim came out. So I didn't go back. And plus, I wasn't playing like sports games like that. I mean, I would love to play SSX, like experience
It's $10. Since you don't subscribe to Game Pass or EA Play, Ed, it's $10 on Xbox. SSX 3 is.
I kind of feel like they're gonna bring that to Switch as part of the 7 games.
3 is good, but 3 is also the one where I started noticing my love of the because they changed a lot. You know, I love the free ride segments and stuff like that. You know, where you could basically just run around the map and stuff. Honestly, it felt like they borrowed elements from Burnout Paradise, and that's kind of what threw the whole thing off. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but out of all 3, it was my least liked of the 3.
What was the snowboarding game for N64?
1080.
1080.
Or if you were cool like me and asked for 1080, you got Twisted Edge Extreme Snowboarding. So,
too much.
I would also like to see Red Faction come back at some point in some form.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna get to this last question, guys, because it's 3:15 in the afternoon. Tiffany Gelt writes in. She says, "Hey everyone, wanted to write in and say that I love the show and I like how I can listen and not feel like I have to keep up with today's gaming trends." After we just talked about Mass Effect Remaster for an hour and a half. With that said, what is one thing you wish the gaming industry was better at with people in between the casual and hardcore space? Thanks. Not being so gatekeepy. I feel like the gaming industry is very gatekeepy in terms of what you should like, what you shouldn't like. If you like this, you're cool. If you don't like this, if you have an opinion about something that's totally different about someone else's, it's like, oh my God, you're the devil. You should die. You know?
Stop trying to cancel Kathy Griffin.
That's gonna get you canceled, Austin. You're canceled.
I'm pretty sure I already was.
That's fine. You can stay here. I don't care. You can have your opinions.
I think Twitch itself. I think there are some good things about Twitch and some bad things. I kind of think that needs to kind of be fixed, in a sense. Even though that doesn't really kind of answer the question with casual and hardcore. I think it's just that sometimes when you're playing a casual game or a hardcore game, there's certain people who go in there and just be like very negative, in a sense. And I wish that Twitch themselves would do something more about that to make the experience for people who don't play games but want to watch it, make it more enjoyable. And for hardcore gamers who want to go in and learn stuff and see skills and stuff, I think Twitch could be better at what they do.
I just feel like, you know, back to what I was saying, I feel like communities are so like, it's almost like high school clicky things again, you know, like it just feels like everybody's so into being the top person in communities and stuff, and it's just like,
oh yeah,
I mean, not
like me and LeRon was
talking
talking about Mean Girls, the cliques.
That's the one thing I think leaderboards basically bred a whole new like version of like elitism in gaming. You know, I mean, to the point where people will actually cheat to be on the leaderboards and stuff like that. You know, and like that's the one. It really ruins a casual experience like really fast for somebody, you know, because there are people out there who just love to play video games, and they'll play any game just to be experiencing playing video games, and then the hardcore element will come along and kind of like ruin the experience for them, and all of a sudden, you know, and this can definitely correlate to sales of games, because like if your level of entry or your level of adoption for the casual gamer isn't there, the game suffers in sales. And usually it's part of a community thing where it's hardcore versus casual, you know.
Which is weird, because leaderboards was the thing in the arcade era, you know, getting a high score in
the arcade era, it was harder for the individual to control, though. Like, you know, like you came in, you dropped your quarters, you played, you put your number 1 or your number 2 score up there, and then you went home, and the next day you're like, oh, Snappy Snappy got the high score, so I got to try again. You know, whereas
and that's why it kind of it transitions to what leaderboards are now.
Well, leaderboards are a whole different ball of wax now, because 9 times out of 10, your leaderboard also comes associated with in-game chat.
Yeah.
User forums and all this stuff, and now you wind up getting blasted online, either vocally, you know, through live game chat, or you'll go put your 2 cents in on a games forum, and all of a sudden you have half the internet just trying to rip your head off.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Austin, you have any?
I don't know if I have anything for like gaming communities. I mean, I like the one that we have right here. Honestly, I think it's the best. You know, just I've been in other gaming communities, and I say past tense because I do not wish to be a part of most of them anymore.
Yeah, I know.
This one and like the Geeks Under Grace one, and there's a couple of others, but most of them I'm just like, ugh. But I would say for me, like, just with gaming companies in general, just to like respect the consumer's time more, making it to where more casual players can play more games and keep up with them, and not be like, I got to spend 60 hours in this game just to get through it. Whereas, you know, there's some games where you can play 20 and not have to do all the side stuff, and have that side stuff for people who want to do it. I think that's just like respecting your time kind of thing is something I wish would improve. Hopefully with this next gen, I'm hoping.
Which I think that's why people are encouraging. It's okay to play a game on easy mode. Whether you know, whatever game you get, if you feel like you just want something to get through and it won't take your time, an easy mode is always there. And people sometimes nowadays recommend more of an easy mode so people can get through the game, get the experience, know the story, and go on. The challenge, if you want a better challenge, then play it on normal or harder difficulty. Or if you feel like you really want to be challenged, play like a Souls game and stuff like that, where the difficulty is set up high and they won't go easy on you at all.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say this is because I'm looking through like my PS4. And like all the games that I haven't played or finished that I want to play are all open world games. And I'm like, it's just to get through these is just like a slodge.
That's why I'm excited for Mass Effect.
As soon as like I'm just not interested in the world. Yeah, I mean, and Mass Effect is a great example of like you can do the side stuff if you want, but you don't have to. You can blow right through the story if you want, and that to me is stuff I kind of wish they would go back to. You know, you're always going to have your Elder Scrolls, your Fallouts and stuff like that. That's there, and I enjoy those games, but not every game has to be that game.
Yeah. Like, let me tell you, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I put something like 70-something hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'm like halfway through it.
Yeah. Ever since Ubisoft went open world, their games just feel long.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
our friend Colonel Panic said a good thing about Ubisoft games the other day. By the way, he's like, man, their games are always really fun until they're not.
Until they're not.
And I'm like, man, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, honestly, that's true. You never finish a game having the same amount of fun as you were at the beginning of the game. It's always like, oh, finally, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not trying to start any crap here. That's how I feel about a lot of games I play on current Nintendo titles nowadays. I feel like they're fun in the beginning, and all of a sudden it becomes like a slog or a chore.
I understand that. I'm not mad at that. That happens.
Ed, you're awfully quick to respond to that, to say you weren't offended by that.
No, because when playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, that's when it started to feel like, okay, now I need just to push through this game and not do everything and stuff like that. But
actually, you know what? I'm gonna take a shot at you now, Ed. Come on, Paper Mario Origami King. Man. Now I'm taking a shot.
No. Until you play the bosses in Final Fantasy Remake, do not.
I am playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. And guess what? What?
Wait till you get to further on in that game. You would be Mario.
If you haven't figured out that the boss experience in Final Fantasy VII Remake is meant to make you rethink how you're supposed to be playing these bosses, then you missed the point of the entire Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh no, they just changed that. Wait till you fight that house and then throw some insurance on. You're going to be upset. Literally. That I got Paper Mario.
Hold on. You know what? Hold on. That's you know what? That's Square. That was Square Enix doing a call out to all their PS1 era games. That house insurance thing. Oh.
Yeah.
Because that house insurance thing, I'm thinking immediately about some of those bosses you had to fight in Brave Fencer Musashi. some of the hijinks they got up to.
Wow. I just don't know what to say.
Hey, look, in Paper Mario, they keep you on your toes. So they do change some things up. So it's really cool what they do in that game.
I believe you.
I haven't played Paper Mario or Origami King, and I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remastered. They both suck, though. All the bosses suck. The whole game suck.
I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII to come to Xbox.
Oh, as a matter of fact, Ed had mentioned this earlier that he was waiting for that he'd love to see what remake looks like on the Series X and you know on the new consoles. Mm-hmm. Let me say this: I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake right now on the PS5, and my roommate he played it on PS4. And when he walked in and he saw what it looked like, he was like, "Man, this looks like I need to play this game again."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the game looks beautiful on PS4. So just seeing it up res and maybe like 60 frames, like the frame rate was a little bit faster. That's what I want to see. But it's a beautiful game. Like,
does it have better frame rate on PS5?
Yeah. You know, I'm not sure. I know it looks like it's playing 60 frames on my television.
I may have to check. Like, I don't know if Digital Foundry did one yet on it, or if there's a comparison video on it. I'll have to check to see it. But like I said, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a beautiful game. It gets frustrating at the end, but I give Square Enix their props what they did with it.
Well, gentlemen, I think that's going to wrap the show. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to the Boss Rush podcast today here live on Twitch. If you can't check us out live, you can catch us on Monday mornings on your podcast service of choice. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you consume our show. You can check out our family of shows on bossrushgames.com. Austin, where can we find you?
You can find me at PlaceAustin on Twitter, and then you can find all my other stuff in the pinned tweet.
Yeah. LeRon, where can we find you?
You can find me on social media at Exodus803, EXODUS803. Also, don't forget to join me in Austin Tuesday nights at twitch.tv/Exodus803 for the Crossroads PlayStation podcast for Boss Rush Games. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, by the way.
Ed?
We will.
Oh, go ahead, Austin.
I was going to say we will continue discussing our woes, me and Nelly, of not having the PS5 as LeRon gloats. 90-inch monitors.
Wait. Am I actually gloating? Do I do that?
No.
I mean, I do when I say I have an Xbox Series X and a Series S. So.
Look, that's me and Austin was trying to get one Friday. That was ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Walmart's doing it the worst way possible.
Yes.
By the way, Ed, Destiny on Series X, on Series S is like my new preferred way to play this game.
Oh, sweet. Is it still? Oh, it's 1440p.
It's 14. It runs at 1440p at 60 frames on Series X, on Series S.
Oh, sweet.
It's great.
Hold on, was you doing that when you was streaming it? I think last Saturday.
I was streaming it through my Series S, but I was streaming it through a capture card, so it's only at 1080p right now.
But it looked good. Like
it looks great. It looks great. What were you gonna say, Austin?
Well, I actually remembered that the other day. Why is it better and easier to stream on the S rather than the X?
Because it's smaller and it fits in my office.
Okay.
And my Series X is in the living room on my giant 4K TV.
Gotcha. I was just wondering. I was like, man, does it just run better on S or something? Does it just look better? Or?
Some games do run better because they're not running 4K assets because of the smart delivery. So some games load faster, they run smoother. By like a frame, but so although the Series S is not capable of running Destiny at 120 frames a second in Crucible, so which by the way gives me a headache when I play it on my big TV because I don't have a HDMI 2.1 port, so I have to run it 1440p at 120, but still looks great.
Built for the new TVs.
Man, I wish I had an OLED though. Man, they're on sale this week, by the way. Super Bowl Sunday. They're like all $1,000 off right now.
Dang.
I'm like, man, that the fact that they're $1,000 off means I could have bought 2 of my current TVs.
Dang.
Because last year I bought the Samsung 8 series last year, which is like the step right below the first QLED, like the low end QLEDs. And like it still looks great, but I'm like, I walk by some of those TVs at Best Buy, before pre-pandemic, and I was like, man, I still want a QLED someday. I want one someday.
I still want a Sony TV.
My before I got married, my roommate bought a brand new OLED TV, which this would have been almost 2 years ago. But it was nice having it to watch movies on while I was there.
Yeah. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode. You can also check out Nintendo Power Block on Mondays, 7:30, 8:30 p.m. Also check out Optional Opinion, Recap, Talk the Walk, and more at Boss Rush Games. And by the time you guys see this, my review of Cyber Shadow should be up. So go check it out. Go give it a read.
By the way, not to like really toot Ed's horn any more than some people already do.
Oh, what do I do now?
Well, you didn't do anything. What you did was boost the numbers of Nintendo Power Block over the last 3 months. I'm gonna.
Here we go again. You say this right in front of the Crossroads people. Here we go again.
LeRon, you guys are. Crossroads is now edging out Tower Casuals. So, I mean, it's a bigger audience. PlayStation has a bigger audience than Destiny. Why is this not loading correctly? You guys are almost at 3,000 listens a week for Power Block.
Oh yes.
In the last 7 days is 2,872 listens.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I hate you. Go away.
Yeah,
For
real. It's
got to be me.
For real.
I leave the show. It becomes popular.
I don't know if it's you, Corey. I don't know. What we need to do is understand the mind of Nintendo fans, and then we'll be able to grasp the idea and convert that to our individual audiences. Because hey, like, I mean, we got to figure out what to do with the Monster Hunter show. There's people are apparently asking for a PC show. Someone on Discord is asking for me to do a Star Trek show. So
LeRon's is gonna have to record all of these shows in one day and then just spurge them out.
Yeah.
By the way, LeRon, I'm going to get the Paramount Plus free trial for a while. And I'm going to try to watch all the Star Trek while I have that free trial.
The Discovery.
What is it? Like 30 days?
I don't know if it's a week or if it's 30 days. I'm hoping it's 30 days because if it's a week, I don't know.
30 days would be nice.
Both seasons are not on Blu-ray yet, right? Or 4K? Or it's just the first one, Star Trek Discovery.
The first 2 seasons are on Blu-ray. Picard season 1's on Blu-ray right now, and Lower Decks should be coming. Lower Decks is the animated one. If you guys like shows like Rick and Morty, Lower Decks will be right up your alley.
Okay, because like I said, I do want to see Discovery. I heard it's just really good. Yeah.
Discovery's also like turned like the I don't know, like if you that's another thing. Going back real fast to like something about the gaming industry, toxic fandom, because Discovery, I did not know Star Trek had such a big toxic fandom until Discovery came out.
Well, you've been talking about it, like
pointing
and
Discovery is And Discovery is damn good Star Trek. It is. I haven't seen anything. Good. I haven't seen anything like it in Star Trek since Deep Space Nine, and apparently Deep Space Nine was a hated Star Trek series.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just location, because around here, all the Star Trek people I know, they hate Deep Space Nine, but I like Deep Space Nine.
Hold on, a disclaimer. Where are you from?
The South.
What state in the South are you from?
Oklahoma.
But yeah,
Deep Space Nine. As a Trekkie, Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek series, and it's not just because they have a black guy as the captain. It's not because of that. Deep Space Nine just did something differently with the Star Trek formula that up to that point had not been done before, and it is now one of the most talked about Star Trek series, but not talked about in a negative way. It's the most talked about series now because of how groundbreaking and pioneering it was for the franchise.
I just ended up missing it because it came on Saturday on like WGN, and I was always gone, so I never got a chance to see.
Wait, DS9? DS9 was a Thursday night show.
You want to hear something crazy though? Because Firefly is another good sci-fi show that only lasted for one season. I never was that.
I heard there's rumors about it coming back, and I'm excited.
No, but they can't get the original character. They can't get the original actors back.
No, it's going to be a reboot.
Yeah,
especially because aren't two of the actors dead? Like, didn't one of them just die like last year? Somebody did.
Oh yeah.
Ron Glass
is dead. Who's the other one that's dead though?
I don't know.
I don't know about who else is dead.
Fillion.
Gina Torres is doing doing that cop show because
she's on 911 Lone Star.
Yeah, because like that's what we just had a big conversation on Tower Casuals about this because she plays Ikora. And Ikora's been missing for like a year and a half, and we're like, well, it's because they can't get Gina Torres. It's like we had a whole conversation. You could see this breakout video on my YouTube channel where we were just talking about like, should they recast Ikora because she's so important to what's going on right now, and she's not in the story anywhere. She's just standing down by the by her little table, waiting to give you some bounties or whatever.
If they want to recast her, like get who's the character that plays Meiji Kusanagi in Ghost in the Shell, the voice actress for her, because her and Gina Torres sounds so familiar. Crap, because she's also the voice actress for Nina Williams in Tekken.
I know who you're talking about, and I cannot think of that. Oh, I love her voice.
Oh, I know they're moving away from quote unquote big name actors because like they don't have Activision budget anymore. I mean, obviously obviously Destiny still makes them a ton of money, right? But like they don't have the Activision budget anymore, so they're like, oh, I guess we should use regular people or just voice actors instead of Nathan Fillion and Gina Torres, or Bill Nighy, who was the speaker, which they couldn't keep him around, so they killed the speaker off and the original. No. Yeah, so it's just like all these big names they had. Did you know that John Lennon wrote the theme song to the original Destiny?
What?
Yeah. Him and Marty O'Donnell composed the music to the Vanilla Destiny.
Oh wow.
Huh.
It's hilarious. So there's actually a whole interview of Marty McDonald talking about his for like 20 minutes on how he composed music with John Lennon for months for this game. So it was a pretty cool interview. You should check it out. Okay, well, I'm glad we just added 20 minutes to the podcast, but
hey, it's Be Real. It's Be Real.
It's true. It's fair. You can find me at IamCorianHD on Twitter. You can find me at CorianHD on Twitch. You can find me on doing various other things here. You can check out the Destiny podcast, Tower Casuals, which I do with Josh Finney. And I think that's it. You can find everything on BossRushGames.com. I want to thank everybody so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Later.